الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ومطاعنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال تعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله واستغفر لذنبك وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والله يعلم متقلبكم ومثواكم. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما أنا رحمة مهداة أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. يا ربي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. Allahu Akbar. Respected Ummah, Allah has blessed us with many bounties and favors. The greatest of these favors is this gift of Iman and this gift of Deen. This favor of Allah has to be valued. It is such a pricey commodity that Allah has gifted it to us, but there's no guarantee it will remain with us till we leave this world. Salvation is, when we're leaving this world, to go with Iman. But Shaitan can't bear that. In this world, he will avert us from this, trying to confuse us, insinuate us, entice us. That's why the final chapter of the Quran is asking Allah's protection from this. Analyze the meaning of the verses. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. It's a dua we know and we read. But Allah teaches us here to seek His protection. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. 3 times we implore Allah's name from one dangerous, harmful, deceptive creature. In the chapter prior to this, which is chapter 113, this is chapter 114. Chapter 113, we seek Allah's name once. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. The avenues from where we seek Allah's protection are diverse. مِن شَرِّ مَا خَلَقْ وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. We seek Allah's name once, imploring Him and His protection from avenues of harm. Here in 114, we seek Allah's name thrice from one very dangerous avenue. من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. And here what we learn is, in this life, to make us miserable, to make us unhappy, to make us uncontent, to make us grieve, to make us angry, meaning to try and do this, Shaitan will exert his efforts. What will help us? Allah's assistance. To make us misunderstand each other, to make us fear doing good, worrying about the reactions of people, to make us not attend certain events because of people. Every trick in the book, Shaitan studied it. He got years of experience. Our weak points, our weaknesses, he presses those buttons to make us deprived. So what we need to do? Seek Allah's assistance. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. In this world he troubles us. When we're going to leave this world, he increases his endeavors in depriving us from dying with Iman. Imagine Shayateen exerts himself more, 100 times more effort than his effort in this world. For example, a person wants to go to the masjid. Shaitan will repeatedly hammer his brain. What if so and so is there? Meaning, maybe we had an argument with so and so. What if so and so is there? No, so what? If he's there, I'm there for my salah. Then what if another person is there who I owe? He will not leave us. What if that person is there who troubled me? What if and what if and what if, to deprive us in this world from Allah's work, from coming to the masjid, from attending an invitation. So much of effort. Now we undertaking that journey and we're still going. And he tries to hinder us and he can't bear it. Now the more we draw from Allah, the more protection of Allah we get. That's why a believer remains in wudu. وَلَا يُحَافِظُ عَلَى الْوُضُوءِ إِلَّا مُؤْمِنٌ. Automatically, the whisperings of the devil will be much lesser, but he still won't leave us. Then we have our du'as. Then we have our salah. Shaitan fears a believer who performs 5 times daily salah. Because the effects of his whisperings are much weaker. They're just very, very slight and minute. But he still doesn't leave us. He looks for every avenue. That's why I analyze the chapter. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. Allah's name and different names I implored thrice. Min shar, from the whisperings, from the insinuations of the waswas. Waswas is someone who frequently, constantly, hankering and whispering in our minds and in our hearts. He can't penetrate the heart, but he stands outside and he whispers. And he throws these thoughts and enticements. Min sharril waswas. Al-khannas, but he retreats. When does he retreat? As soon as we turn to Allah. Alladhi yuwaswis. Same topic Quran is repeating. He will whisper in the chests of man. From jinn kind and mankind. So shaitan has mankind who he'll use also to make us feel bad. What if this one says? What if so and so is there? Allah help us overcome this challenge. That we can't worry about people. What does my Allah say? Because when I'm going to leave this world, I'm going to answer Allah alone. We have to overcome this challenge. And then a lot of khair we will be able to participate in. Interestingly, in chapter 39 of the Quran, Surah Fussilat, there's a discussion about dying with Iman. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا. Because shaitan makes an effort, but when we're leaving this world, his endeavors increase drastically, over 100 times, because he doesn't want us to leave with Iman. Now there's one fitna called the fitna of Dajjal. There's a lot of Dajjali fitna around there in the world. But when the Dajjal finally comes, imagine he'll say to the believer, first he'll claim to be a prophet, then he'll claim to be God, and he got powers, it's a test. The hadith of the Messenger ﷺ are true. Dajjal will say rain, it will rain. So our eyes are seeing something, and Iman is seeing something else. What is stronger will overcome. So that's what we have to feed, the ruh. So Dajjal will say, see, I'm showing you how great I am. He reaches this level where he will say to a man, what will convince you that I'm your Lord? You want your own parents to tell you? So he'll tell Dajjal, but my parents have died, they've passed on. He says, no, I'll bring them to life. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, he will call the jinn to take the form of his parents. And he's seeing his parents in front of him. And his parents are telling him lovingly, Beta, my child, my son. Yes, yes, ma, yes, yes. We've died before you. We have seen what happens there. This is your God. Imagine that level of test. Now it happens on a daily basis. It's happening from here, it's happening from there. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that to such an extent a believer worries for his Iman, his children's Iman, his daughter's Iman, his wife's Iman, that he'll lock his house. And they still want to go by Dajjal. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, a believer who comes to him, Dajjal got the answers. Like shaitan's whisperings internally. We answer him in one way, I'm still going to the masjid. No, but there's someone else you owe. He's going to interrogate you. Oh, but there's someone else who was ugly to you, who looked at you like that, or who was talking about you. All these thoughts. Don't go there by the ijtima. Somebody will find you. Somebody will insult you. Nothing is going to happen. To such an extent, two people are sitting at a distance talking about something else. Shaitan will put it in our brains. Oh no, they're talking about me. Allah help us overcome this. Otherwise this will deprive us from so much. Now what about Dajjal? That is real. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that with one believer, many jinn are supportive of Dajjal to confuse the believer. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that a man ties and locks his home, that his family mustn't go by Dajjal, because the believer will go through hunger and his family are not prepared for sacrifice. They're not prepared to make dhikrullah and consider that as food. Now they're telling him, we have to go because he is God. The amenities are by him, pleasures are by him. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that one mu'min, he will go to Dajjal and he'll say, but as he arrives by Dajjal, this hadith is in Sahih Muslim. He arrives at the arena where Dajjal is and the guards stop him. So he says, take me to this imposter. So the guards get very upset. You know who you speak about. You know who you're referring to. That's our God. He says, he's no God. Allah is our Lord. The one guard wants to assassinate this mu'min. The other says, wait. Remember what the Lord said. Don't just kill anyone until they meet him. See, Dajjal doesn't want a believer to die with Iman. That's an honorable death. So this believer is escorted now before Dajjal. And he tells Dajjal, you are tricking the people, you lying to the people. Allah is one. Dajjal says, but why are you saying that? I am who you're referring to. I am the Lord. He says, never, my Allah is one. So Dajjal will say, I'll prove it to you. He says, you can never do it. And now Dajjal wants an audience. So Dajjal will now show the people how he is God, and he'll slit him in half. And everyone is seeing. And Dajjal walks between the two parts of his body. And then he joins him together. And this mu'min wakes up. And there's a huge reaction from the crowd. And everyone is starting to accept Dajjal. That mu'min addresses the crowd. Believers, remember, hold on firm onto your Iman. Our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam forewarned us that he will do this. Allah is one. Allah is not one-eyed. This is dunya. It is the test of Iman. Don't fall to this trick. Dajjal gets so angry. And then the mu'min says to the community that remember, he can only do this once. Our Nabi told us he will do this. Who will be able to say this to Dajjal? A mu'min. And a mu'min who will stand up for Allah. That's why we have to teach our children at home, from home. When doing the ta'aleem, my child, you talk about Allah. My daughter, you tell us about Allah. No, I'm shy. 10 seconds. Say something about Allah. The father will say something about Allah. How merciful Allah is. How kind Allah is. How great Allah is. How powerful Allah is. Your child, tomorrow 20 seconds. The next day 1 minute. Then talk about Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the importance of the Sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Imagine there's a fitna today where some people are going into a fitna where they say, no, there's no hadith. The hadith is not preserved. Allah, it's only Quran. Sahabah preserved Quran and hadith. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in a hadith which is sahih, a man will be sitting on his lazy boy, his comfortable couch, and they will come to him in his home. And they will tell him about my sunnah. And who are those that do that? You know. Who else got time to go to a man's home and talk about Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sunnah? This hadith which is sahih are speaking about those brothers. They will go to a man's home and talk about my sunnah. And this man who's highty-tighty in his comfortable couch, he'll say, don't tell me sunnah, only Quran. Allah's Nabi said, my hadith is part of the Quran, meaning the explanation of the Quran. It is wahi from Allah, because I never utter of my own accord. What Allah inspires me is what I utter. This hadith teaches us many things. Visiting brothers for sunnah in the home, belief in the sunnah. And the one who doesn't believe in sunnah will never pass the test of Dajjal, because Dajjal is not in Quran. We learn about him from the ahadith sahihah of Rasulullahﷺ. What happens to this mu'min? He says to the crowd, our Nabi told us. So teach our children to stand up for Allah from now. My child, talk about Allah. And whatever he tries, encourage him, guide him, Create that environment in the home. Create that environment in the maktab. For 15 minutes, every child must talk about Allah. Every child must get and teach other children. Don't laugh at the one trying. And the one who is trying and being laughed at, tell him, see my son, this is Allah training you. They're laughing at you today. So teach both ways. They're laughing at you today. Tomorrow, 99% will listen. 1% will laugh. Will you not stand up for Allah, for the one who's going to laugh? You training him that even if they laugh, I have to advocate the truth. I have to invite to Allah. He says to the congregation, my Nabi told us, he will do this. Don't forsake your iman. Dajjal in his rage now grabs him and tries to kill him again. But Nabi ﷺ said, this time he won't be able to do it. And Allah will cause his neck to turn into metal. Metal. And he won't be able to penetrate through. And while he's trying to kill this believer is giving da'wat. What an honor to die calling to Allah. Then Dajjal grabs him and flings him into what everyone sees is a fire. But our beloved said that is Jannah. We have to protect our iman. Imagine the Sahabi, Abdullah bin Hudhafa Sahmi. He was in Allah's way in the Roman lands. He was taken captive. He was locked up in the dungeon. There's reports of who they put with him in the dungeon. A woman who was told to undress was put with him. And after he came out of there, when the emperor heard her report, he was shocked. He couldn't believe Sahaba's iman. That's Sahaba's iman. What happened then? The Sahabi is brought before the emperor. The emperor makes an offer. Tell me, I'll do anything for you. Become a Christian. I want people like you. So the Sahabi says, he laughs at him, I'll never forsake my iman. I'll die, but as a Muslim. He says, okay, what if I offer you half my kingdom? Now you know the Roman emperor was the superpower of the them day. Half my kingdom. So the Sahabi scoffs. He says, you can give me, leave half, give me your whole kingdom. The entire Arabian region as well. For me to forsake my deen for a blink of an eyelid, طرفة عين ما فعلت. For a blink of an eyelid also, I'm not prepared to forsake my iman. This emperor was astonished, amazed at the iman of Sahaba, radiallahu anhum. He was trying to win Sahaba into Christianity. This is what they're doing to our brothers around the world. Look at so many countries. Philippines, 200 years ago, 95% Muslim. Ask a Philippine brother, what's the percentage of Muslims today? Those who travel, you'll meet a lot of people on the counters from Philippines. Fathers, grandfather were Muslim. What about a lot of our countries in Africa, our Malawi brothers? Fathers, grandfather were Muslim. Today, Dixon, and had forsaken deen. Because we forget and we fear where we're going to eat from. We've forgotten that this life is so short. We have to leave this world with iman. And the missionaries are working from far, from America, from Britain. They're going into Africa, spending not few months or few days, few years. Women, young girls, and offering Christianity to our brothers. We have to protect our iman. This Sahabi is now hung in a manner that he doesn't die, and then the emperor says to his marksman, shoot him near his hands, near his feet. He wants to see how far he can go. The Sahabi is reading kalima. Then a cauldron, a pot was brought, filled with oils, brimming heat, sizzling. 2 captives were brought, tabi'een, were thrown in there, and they die in front of the Sahabi. Then the Sahabi is brought down and he's escorted to that pot. And now he starts to sob. So the soldier escorting him indicates to the emperor that this man is now giving in. He's giving up. So the emperor calls him again. Are you prepared to accept my offer? He says, never. He says, but why are you emotional? He says, the reason for my emotions are that I know, hopefully, I'll be given for Allah and I'll hand over my one life for Allah now in this spot. What an honor. But my Allah is so great. My Allah is so mighty. My Allah is so loving. My Allah is so merciful. The grandeur, the might, the power, the glory, the greatness of my Allah is beyond what I can fathom. And He's so kind to me, my beautiful, kind, merciful, compassionate Allah. For me to give one life for my Allah is too little. I was hoping, I was wishing in this emotion, أَن يَكُونَ لِي بِعَدَدِ شَارِ بَدَنِ أَنفُسٌ تُلْقَى كُلُّهَا فِي هَذَا الْقِدْرِ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. I was hoping and wishing that Allah, if you gave me lives in accordance to the number of hair strands on my body, I wish I could give one after the other, one life after the other, for you, for your sake, for your deen. To give one life for my Allah is too little. This emperor was so inspired. He said, how can I kill a man like you? He was inspired. Emperor was inspired. He says, I want to release you. Just give me one kiss on my head. To get a kiss from a man like you. He should have rather said, can I kiss your head? But anyway, the emperor said, can you give me one kiss on my head? Because he didn't have that level of humility, obviously. So this Sahabi is wondering, but how can I save myself only? And if I kiss him on his head, will it harm the cause of Allah's deen? He's wondering. He says, but what about all my other brothers who are captives and unjustly in your prisons? He says, I'll release them all. So the Sahabi wonders, and he gives him one kiss, and all the Sahaba and the Tabi'een are released, and they return to Medina Munawwara. Hazrat Umar hears this Karguzari. He stands up in Masjid al-Nabawi. He says, it is haqq upon every Muslim to kiss the forehead of Abdullah bin Hudhafa, and I will start. And he kissed Hazrat Abdullah bin Hudhafa. Look at the iman of Sahaba. Allah has blessed us with an opportunity. The whole country, the whole province wanted this. Allah chose Newcastle. We are the hosts of an event that is amazing. This event has started. It's not on the 9th. The 9th is the end of the Ijtima. Ijtima is happening. The gathering of the hearts, the gathering of the people, the gathering of the Muslims. Every night there's programs. Every night there's a mashura. What's the discussion? What can we do for Allah's deen? Every night there's physical labor on the site. There's something to do. There's drinking tea, there's ikram, there's sitting, there's talking, there's coming into an environment where we see the beauty of Islam, an environment where we greet each other with salam, an environment where we do for each other without any ulterior motive, for Allah's sake, irrespective of color, irrespective of race, irrespective of nationality. So many people are benefiting. Let's ask ourselves, what about me? Why shouldn't I also be there? If I don't want to pick up a hammer and hit a nail, if I don't want to be part and parcel of the plumbing jamaat, even if I want to just sit around the fire and hear something about Allah late at night, what can be better, my brothers? In Sahaba's lives, there was a man taken captive in Masjid al-Nabawi because he did a lot of wrong in his past. His name was Thumama. He was kept in the masjid for 3 days. After 3 days, it's a long incident, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam released him. You go now. He was so amazed that I'm such a wealthy man, but I thought Allah's Nabi would ransom me and allow me to pay 100 camels, 500 camels, and then he would release me. He invited me to Islam and he released me. When he left the masjid, Thumama, the ruler of Yamama, he left the masjid. He's wondering, why is it not so peaceful outside the masjid? He goes, he makes a ghusl, he returns to the masjid. Ta'aleem is taking place in the masjid. He says, oh Allah's Nabi, I want to make an announcement. There was no one on the face of this earth that I hated like you. Today I love you the most. There was no city that I detested like your city. But today I love your city. There was no deen that I abhorred like your deen. Today I embrace your deen. ما كان على وجه الأرض وجه أبغض إلي من وجهك فأصبح وجهك أحب الوجوه كلها إلي وما كان على وجه الأرض دين أبغض إلي من دينك فَأَصْبَحَ دِينُكَ أَحَبَّ الْأَدْيَانِ كُلِّهَا إِلَيْهِ. Then he utters, أَشْهَدُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is the beauty of coming into the environment. There was an alim, just mentioned the other day and we're finishing. He said this ijtima was taking place. So a few friends had a meeting. They didn't know much about the ijtima. So they were meeting at one cafe and they were going to play dice and their game, their cards, and they would take some, drugs or, dakha, and they would spend their time. The one friend made it. The other two didn't. So the one who made it is wondering, what happened to my friends? Why didn't they come? And he's very upset because there was an appointment and he's waiting for his friends. So he rushes to their houses to interrogate them. I'm waiting for you all. Why haven't you all come? How long? Their family said, no, they gone to the ijtima. He said, how? Ijtima? For what? What are they doing there? He now goes to the ijtima to find his friends. He arrives at the maidan of the ijtima and he's looking for them. But when you get to the ijtima, there's brothers there standing by a table to smile. How are you, brother? Not to judge you. Why you removed your beard? Why your pants is like this? Why you dressed? Nothing. MashaAllah, my brother. Welcome. Welcome. Have some juice. Take this. Have this kajur with a smile. So he sees that these people don't even know me and they're showing me so much of love. Then they escort him. Come, come, brother. He's looking for his friends, but the love he received. But while he's looking for his friends, the program is taking place. That Allah is so merciful. Allah is so loving. Allah's love is billions of times more than mother's love. Mother's love is limited. Allah's love is unlimited. Allah says, if you fill the earth with sins and you turn to me, I'll forgive you and I won't even worry about it. I'll overlook it. I'll wipe it out. That there's no witness against you on Judgment Day. Oh my banda, when you stand up to me, I walk to you. When you walk to me, I run to you. Oh my banda, when you remember me, I remember you. When you forget me, I still remember you. He's hearing about Allah, the mercy of Allah. And he's thinking, Ya Allah, how I haven't recognized you. How did I waste my life in this dunya? Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, I went wrong. And while he's looking for his friends, these words are working on his mind. And finally, he says, no man. He goes to a stall. He buys one sunnat libas. He puts it on. He wears the sunnat. And now he's going for the program. And en route to the program, where he's walking, marching for Allah to change his life, he sees his friends. And they're also there. And they also have changed their lives. And they hug each other. And together the three of them became the means of the hidayat of that whole community. Allah gave us ijtima. That area that was a club 12 years ago. And the last ijtima in Darul Uloom was 75. But 12 years ago, that was, before that, it was a club. And prior to that, it was a church. One man who attended the ijtima showed us, this was where I used to dunk and baptize the people. Up to today, it's a masjid where deen is spreading. Deen is being taught, the barakat of ijtima. Brothers, ijtima has started. We generally go on the day of the ijtima, where we go to another town and we enjoy it, we become spiritually uplifted. But the town that welcomes the ijtima, the host of the ijtima. So today I requested Hazrat Maulana Sahab to give us this program because this was what I wanted to request you. Don't think ijtima is on the 9th. Ijtima is on now. Let's be there. Even if we can give an hour in the day. Just be there. Feel that spirituality of Iman. At night come, there's ta'aleem after the salah. Sit a little while. After that have some tea. After that just see what the brothers are doing. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you increase the amount of a people, you are with them. You are part of them. So all make this intention in the heart. That Allah, we're going to be there. And today, this afternoon, there's a ladies program. Because our ladies are also part of the ijtima. It can't be, are we going for ijtima? Ladies are doing some tournaments and so forth. Allah save us. Allah save them. They are part of the ijtima. So 3 o'clock today, there's a discussion for our ladies, inshallah, at Haji Zakaria Umar's place. So please encourage the ladies to come there. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyi.